Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, the Medium in the Middle. On this podcast, I share my journey as a developing psychic medium, as a Reiki master teacher, as an Akashic record practitioner, and anything else that's thrown my way. Hello, Middlers. Welcome to episode 194. My name is Stephanie. I am the Medium in the Middle. And on this week's episode, I am answering a question that I actually got a long time ago, and it's about releasing emotions. So in Reiki, we talk about balancing your energy. I always use the analogy of energy flows from your head to your toes like water. We just want to rebalance it with Reiki. I like using Reiki and balance as the same. But the question was around releasing emotions in a healthy way so they don't get trapped or stuck in the body, especially around anger. So we're going to talk about that today because I think it's a really good topic to discuss, and I'll give you some of my tips and tricks, and hopefully that helps you. So there was no podcast last week. I wasn't planning on not having a podcast, but October was my second busiest month of the year. And by the time last week came, I was just running on all cylinders, and editing and releasing and promoting a podcast would have just pushed me over the edge. So in the name of not burning out, we skipped last week's podcast. It's always hard when I have to do that, but I know it was for the best. And I am feeling much better this week. I've just came off 2 days off. I was working 6 days a lot, so it is nice to feel rested again. And I've gotten a lot done around my house. I just got a new rug and some new pillows, and my TV is mounted and all the artwork's back up. So my house feels very warm and cozy and ready for winter. But yeah, reflecting on October, it was crazy. Last year, I remember just like going all the way to the end. November had so many trainings, and then December, and then I just crashed. And I'm going to learn from my mistakes this year, and I scheduled in more time off this October. I also scheduled in a lot of self-care, like weekly self-care. I was making sure I had massages and facials and spa days and pedicures and just scheduling in whatever I could to rest because I knew it was going to be a go month. So just learning from last year so we don't make the same mistakes twice. I know that October is always crazy, but I can plan ahead. I used to plan weddings. It seems like in another life, but it was really only when I was living in Ontario. I was a wedding coordinator for a resort, and my friends got married, and they asked me to come out of retirement and do their wedding. So it was really fun. It was really fun to be back in that role. I love planning events. If I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, I would definitely be back in events. I still have the Banff Wellness Retreat to like scratch that itch, but I do really enjoy events and food and beverage. So that was fun, but I have not worked a 14-hour day on my feet in a very long time. So that was a big day, but it was a lot of fun, and I really had to catch up on rest from that. So those are my updates. That's why there was no episode last week. We will be having new episodes up until mid-December. And then I always take 3 weeks off around the holidays because everyone's busy and no one's listening to podcasts. Holidays are coming. Cold weather is coming. I like cozy season. An excuse to be indoors. You don't feel guilty, it snows here. I don't know if it snows where you are. So we're going to jump right into announcements. Then we'll do the card pull. And then we'll jump right into the episode. The announcements that I have for you, actually just a few Reiki trainings. The first December Reiki Level 1 sold out really fast. So I launched another Reiki Level 1 December 9th and 10th. This will actually be the last one of the year. There's no other time I can do another one. So if you want to learn Reiki this year, December 9th and 10th is your last chance, or it will be in January. There will be another one. So because I added another Reiki level 1, that means the last Reiki level 2 is November 18th and 19th. So if you want to learn, that course is next week and it still has 2 spots left, but it's waiting for somebody. So November 18th, 19th is your last chance to take level 2 in 2023. And then I finally got the replay up on the website of the business numbers and 2020 floor planning workshop. So you can purchase that course on my website now. The replay's up there. All the course materials are included. It's on a fancy new course site, which I'm very excited about. So that is up there. It'll be up there until the end of the year because in that course, I talk about how in your business you have to plan at least 3 months in advance. So by January, like half of your year realistically should be already planned. And this course is going to be disappearing at the end of this year. So if you bought the replay, watch it as soon as you can because there's about a month's worth of work in there. You're going to be kind of chipping away at this over the next month. As things, if they slow down for you over Christmas, it's a great time to start to plan into 2024. So I'll leave all the links for that down below, Reiki level 1 and 2, and the replay of that workshop. Those are my announcements. And I went on live on Instagram. Reminder, I only have one Instagram, @medium in the middle. All the other ones are scams. I'll never DM you for a reading. Anyways, I went on Instagram and we did a little boat race. And the listeners chose the Kyle Gray Oracle deck. You got 2 cards this week, so I'm going to read them in order of that they fell. First one is honesty and communication. You are being given an opportunity to speak your truth. You have reached a point on your journey where you must be honest with yourself and all those around you. If you are holding anything in or feel you need to share something in order to feel free, know that your angel guide is encouraging you to act on this now. When you share your feelings and speak truthfully, you draw the support and light of the universe into your heart. If you are in a challenging position and find it difficult communicating what is in your heart, call on the angels and ask them to support you. They want you to know that when you speak with honesty, you attract experiences that lovingly reflect who you really are. I pulled this week for a client in a Reiki and card pull session. Honesty and communication. Always a little spank on the bum. Then your second card this week was take a step back. And I like this card because last week I had to take a step back. Your angels are guiding you to take a step back and reflect before proceeding further. There is an excitable and action-oriented energy around you at this time, but you are being encouraged to review the situation before making any moves. Remember that you are a sensitive being, and should the correct steps and intention not be lined up, you could open yourself up to harsh energies or a situation that could be limiting to your growth. In order to have the best experience and a positive outcome, take some time now to meditate on your actions, intentions, visions, and goals. Call in your angels and invite them to guide you to make the decision that will be supportive of your expansion and highest good. Those are your cards this week, folks. Honesty and communication and take a step back. If you want to see them, I always post them on Instagram, so you can go over there and see the cards. Okay, let's jump into this episode. So the question was around a podcast of how to release emotions in a healthy way so they don't get trapped or stuck in the body, especially anger. And the writer wrote, as a woman, I think most of us don't feel safe to release anger and often have difficulty to release it in a healthy way. So I want to talk about that today. Thank you so much for that question. I use the analogy a lot in my Reiki trainings of a shaken up pop bottle. So this is for all emotions, not only anger. But I want you to imagine that you are a pop bottle and life will shake you up. Maybe life drops you on the floor. Maybe life kicks you. Maybe you roll down a hill. Maybe you're dropped and kicked and, taking your pop bottle for a ride. And then if you try to go and open your pop bottle, what's going to happen? Obviously, pop is going to spray everywhere and it's going to fizz and it's going to make a big mess. And that is a really good analogy of what happens to your emotions. We can't sit here and kick and drop our pop bottle and think that when we go and open it, everything is going to be fine. So, finding healthy ways to open your pop bottle without releasing the pop everywhere, or doing it before it gets really bad, is something very, very healthy to do. So I want to talk about a few main areas that really hold emotions that can cause a lot of negative effects. Number one is the throat. The throat, it's cold and flu season. Have you lost your voice? If you're losing your voice, if you're coughing, anything to do with your throat, that is your throat releasing alarm bells that something is wrong. So the throat is how it feels. Does it feel scratchy? Does it feel like you're coughing? Does it feel like you lost your voice? So a healthy way to release the throat, even if you can't yell at the person you want to yell at or maybe have a difficult conversation, is to still say it out loud. Talk out loud in the shower, talk out loud in the car, but you have to get it out of your body. Thinking it won't help, writing it down won't help. You need to say the words, you need to release it. So I recommend saying things in the shower or in the car. Even just practice saying things will always be helpful for your throat. Something that I personally do to release emotions, and especially anger, is you guys know I'm a CrossFitter and I go to the gym 5 or 6 days a week, and that is my emotional release. That's the time for my brain to shut off. And if I'm real angry, I like to quietly work out, play loud music, and lift something heavy and kind of push myself as far as I can go. So I really enjoy that. As much as I do love CrossFit for CrossFit, I also just love it for the mental stability that it gives me and the outlet to have that release. So whatever's going on in my life, I have that class 1 hour a day to just let it all out. And then I feel completely reset when I go to work. So I go to the gym before I go to work. And it really, really helps me feel balanced and not feel like a shaken up pop bottle when I start my day. A few other things that I personally do is dog walks in nature, and I do them completely disconnected. So no headphones, no phone. I don't walk with anybody. I walk alone. I stare at nature and I just ground. So I find this is really helpful when I need to clear my head. So I recommend, even if you don't have a dog, just go for a walk. Find a little route. So me and Arch have 2 routes. We have a 45-minute route and we have an 1.5 hour route. So depending on what I need, 45 minutes or an 1.5 hours, that's what we do. And we just walk, and I stare at the mountains and I smell the leaves and I kick them around, and I walk on the path and I stare at the Bull River, and it's amazing. But then again, I come home and I feel like my pop bottle was released. Now, this isn't for me personally, but I know some people like to go for a run. And I would just say any physical activity that helps get the emotion out is really nice. You can dance, you can jump, you can shake. I also really like a bath. So if I am feeling overwhelmed, I like to have a really hot bath, and I will sit there as long as possible. And I like to have a long bath. I have a friend who takes like 15-minute baths, which to me seems crazy, because if I'm going to like run a bath and light a candle and put a bath bomb and the oils and the salts and all the things that a medium named Brie has taught me to do for a nice luxurious bath, I'm going to sit there for like 45 minutes to an 1.5 hours. And if the water gets cold, I add some more. I add some more warm water. So finding what your tricks are, I think, is number 2. Number 1, I would say, is knowing when your pop bottle is reaching that breaking point. So especially for anger, if you have something, knowing that like, okay, it's coming, okay, it's coming, okay, it's bubbling up, like I need to do something about it. So just being able to monitor that. Obviously, Reiki is amazing. Some people like to cry if you just need to get the emotions out. But I think that we should all have a way that we release our emotions in our back pockets. You should know what your things are, and you should know what it feels like when your pop bottle has been thrown on the ground and kicked and dropped or maybe ignored, or just knowing that you need something. I think that's really the sweet spot. And I have been preaching this for a long time, and I will continue to preach it, but I really think that the awareness piece is really important. So if you are aware that you have anger that you need to be released, just see what you need. Like, do you need to go for a run? Do you need to scream? Do you need to put on really loud music and clean the house and sing? There's a emo night coming up in Banff, and a few of us old gals are thinking about going. So I was recently looking up like early 2000s emo music, like The Used and Silverstein and My Chemical Romance and Taking Back Sunday and just all of that stuff. And as I was like making a playlist, I was just singing my heart out. And I was like, this is so therapeutic. Obviously, there's therapy too. You can always go to therapy, but you can also find things that are your own therapy. So for me, singing loudly in the car, playing very, very loud music is good, especially if you have to drive to and from work. Blare music and sing your heart out, or do it when you're in the shower. So those are always good. Those are my personal tips. Hopefully you can take some of these. Maybe they'll work for you. I'm sure there's a million other ways you can release your anger. These are just kind of the things that I do, and I always think about, how am I feeling? How's my pop bottle feeling? What do I need? Do I need a bath? Do I need a long dog walk? Do I need an angry gym session? Do I need loud music? What's going on? So that's my advice and my reminder to you to release that cap of your pop bottle before you burst. Because once you burst, there's pop everywhere, and who's got to clean it up? You do. You got to clean up the big mess, because whose fault is it? Yours. Don't let your pop bottle get too bad. So that's what I have for you this week. Come back and re-listen to this whenever you need the reminder. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this podcast. I release new episodes every Wednesday. Maybe share this with a friend who needs to hear it. If you do share it on Instagram, please tag me. And if you haven't already, I would love and appreciate a rating and a review. But until next Wednesday, when I see you in your ears, middlers, I hope you have a wonderful week. Release that anger, open your pop bottle, find your zen. Bye, everybody.